Israel's attack on Iran, enabled by a willing American political class that too often confuses loyalty with wisdom, has pushed the Middle East closer to a regional catastrophe. The result is already spilling beyond the borders of the two combatants. Iranian retaliation has endangered neighboring states, dragging countries like Jordan into a conflict that they never sought or could afford. Jordan is not a belligerent power, it is one of the region's most stable governments, a critical American ally and home to millions of refugees already displaced by previous wars. Attacking Jordan is the geopolitical equivalent of bombing Sweden or Italy because you are angry at someone else. It demonstrates how quickly war ceases to be strategic and becomes contagious. And yet, the conflict is unfolding against a backdrop that should make every world leader pause before lighting another match. The planet is warming at an accelerating pace. Scientists warn that large portions of the Earth, particularly the equatorial and subtropical regions, could become increasingly difficult to inhabit during this century because of extreme heat, drought, crop failure, water scarcity, and rising seas. Estimates vary widely, but climate researchers project hundreds of millions and potentially more than a billion people could be displaced by climate related pressures over the coming decades. Think about the absurdity of our priorities here. The human civilization perhaps faces perhaps the greatest collective challenge in its history. We know carbon emissions are destabilizing ecosystems. We know droughts, fires, floods, heat waves are becoming more severe. We know migration pressures are already straining governments across Europe, Africa, Asia, and the Americas. Yet, instead of mobilizing our wealth, ingenuity, and industrial power towards adaptation and survival, we are pouring trillions into military confrontation. The world's governments continue spending staggering sums on weapons systems while bridges crumble, power grids age, water systems fail, and climate resilience projects remain unfunded. Every missile launched is a declaration that fear still commands a larger budget than the future. War has always been expensive, but the 21st century, it has become something even more dangerous. A distraction from extinction level risks. The global economy is built on confidence. Markets function because people believe tomorrow will arrive in a recognizable form. Regional wars threaten oil supplies, shipping lanes, trade routes, investment flows, and consumer confidence. They generate inflation, instability, political extremism. They make long term planning impossible. Meanwhile, the atmosphere doesn't give a shit. Carbon molecules do not care about national borders, religion, military alliances, or ancient grievances. They accumulate, regardless of who fired first. The tragedy is that the war is not merely another chapter in a century-old regional conflict. It's unfolding at a precise moment humanity can least afford it. Every escalation consumes resources, attention, and political capital that could be directed towards building a livable future. History may eventually record this era as the moment when civilization stood at a crossroads. One path required unprecedented cooperation, the other promised endless confrontation. Too many leaders seem determined to choose the second path, sadly. And if they succeed, the ultimate winners will not be nations, religions, or ordinary citizens. The winners will be a handful of oligarchs, arms manufacturers, and power brokers who profit from instability, while the rest of the world inherits a hotter, poorer, more dangerous world. The door to the future is still open, but every bomb dropped, every retaliatory strike launched, and every political cowardice pushes the door a little closer to closing. So, if we can think about what's going on in the Middle East in the broader 10,000, 30,000 foot view of the earth itself, we can come to a stone cold conclusion that we're sacrificing the future of humanity for a handful of super wealthy oligarchs who are moving to places where the climate will not affect them. They're putting their resources and desires in places where control is the ultimate goal of what's left of a pitiful population that allowed this to go on, allowed these wars to create economic scarcity and basically promote the the destruction of the earth itself. We're living in perilous times, folks, and it's important that your politicians speak out about these things. There are connections to be made. There are, ideas to be had and thought about. Science is on the edge of this. Science has brought us all this way to a very, very, very livable world for everyone. And, we need to figure out what problems science has created with the environment, with the war machine, with the overall psyche of a nation. Science can figure it out. AI can figure it out. We can look for answers to these questions that are going to be haunting future civilizations. And anyway, call your politician, tell them to get on board, tell them this war is against, is supporting global warming and immigration, and how, disastrous this has been for everyone. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Please like and share if you like these kinds of views, different views on subjects that hit the so-called news. And always keep in mind that your personal life matters. Like and share. I'm out. This is Carl for Mind Chimes.